Hey, it's Dr. Mitchell on BERC Basics, where I'm sharing my favorite powerful teaching and learning strategies for after school educators. The skill we are talking about today is active listening and communication skills because we are learning how to facilitate positive peer to peer collaboration. We've been talking a lot about turning and talking and having students working on higher order thinking tasks with learning partners or in groups with a shared goal and some sort of interdependence. But to be able to do this, it does require the development of specific active listening skills and specific communication skills. Just a reminder about our neuroscience, we never leave it out. We are in the business of helping students store their short term memory into the long term memory so that they can easily retrieve it. And to do that, we need our brains to be talking. Again, if they didn't say it, they didn't save it. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. So let's talk first about elementary students. When we think about getting elementary students to engage in active listening and develop these skills, it's important to remember practice is literally the most important thing to develop active listening. But these are the skills that we need them to know. We need them to learn how to get their ears open. We need them to learn how to get their mouth quiet, eyes looking at the speaker, hands and feet facing, meaning our body language is showing that we're listening. Our brains are thinking and our hearts are open. So let's break this down. When we're teaching mouth quiet, we can really teach students voice levels. Now, I've done other videos on voice levels, but the idea of voice levels is that we have specific rituals for how our voice levels should sound depending on the context. So when we're working with learning partners, it's going to be different than if we're independently reading a book in the library. The second thing is we need to talk about like our eye contact, right? If we're not facing our speaker, it can look like we're wandering around and we might be less engaged or distracted. So we talk about eye contact when we're teaching active listening. Now the thing is we do need to be aware that some cultures don't necessarily make eye contact. That's just something that we need to be aware of. When we talk about hands and feet facing and our physical body, we literally need to teach students how to take their shoulders and square up with their learning partner to show that they're a good listener. Feet are on the ground and their body is as still as possible for their development age. Now, heart open, that means that we're teaching kids to be kind and caring as we're an active listener, that we're inclusive of everybody. We learn the skill of working with multiple people. Ears listening, mouth quiet, eyes looking, hands and feet facing, brain thinking, and heart open. All things that our elementary and secondary students can learn. But if we're working with secondary, I really like the acronym SLANT to teach students how to be an active listener. So it's sit up straight, much like our hands and feet are facing. It's listen, L for listen. So our ears are open. It's A for asking questions. I love that asking questions is a part of SLANT because it's a communication skill that we really do need to reinforce. Nod your head. That also shows that you're listening, and track the speaker. That's the eye contact, tracking that speaker. So communication skills is incredibly important. So part of communication skills is active listening. And then beyond that, we have other things like speaking clearly or taking turns. And taking turns, we can promote that by scaffolding turn and talk time, just like we talked about in the scaffolding talk time video, where literally we might be breaking down by like partner A goes first, partner B listens, and then after a minute, the timer goes off and you swap it so that partner B is speaker and partner A is listening. So practicing the taking and swapping of turns. Being kind is a communication skill. Staying on topic is a communication skill. Using sentence starters to get started and learning how to elaborate. So elaboration is a more challenging communication skill to teach, but it's how do we add detail. So a lot of times using sentence starters can help us elaborate. I would like to add something else I notice, something I have been thinking about is, and then the restating question, also relating to sentence starters. How do we take a question and restate it to ignite our talk time? And of course, asking questions. So these are skills I want you to think about, like reinforcing or implementing into your program to improve those communication skills, to improve those turn and talks and that collaboration between students. These can all be taught and they can all be practiced. I hope you take this video and reflect and think about what strategies within active skills and communication skills are most urgent that you need to teach and reinforce with your students for the after school programming today.